You saw the 15 minutes, 10 minutes right to start. That we didn't have to zoom into. I don't know which one I'll pick up first. Appreciate you guys. We have 2 items on the it said it should be short. We'll see.
And buzz his hair. And I'd go out there. I could see yours. It's like, stand back. Nope.
I gotta
Nope.
get my computer set up before we get
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, Mary Ann
Good morning.
thankfully does mine.
It's now 9 o'clock, and we'll call the meeting of the Chaves County Board of Commissioners, February meeting to order. Mike, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sarah, would you?
Thank you. If you so choose, would you please join me as we go to our Heavenly Father? Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day. Lord, thank you for our area. I know it's windy, Lord. We have been blessed by not having the fires Lord, we ask that you take care of our brothers and sisters throughout the nation that are dealing with the winds and the fire and the ice and the snow, Lord. We know that you are in control, but we just ask that you take care of our land and our brothers and sisters as they go through all of this. Heavenly Father, take care of our law enforcement as they go into danger to help people. Let them be safe on our streets throughout our county and our state. Lord, we just know that you are in control. But Lord, we need your help. We need you to take care of us, our family, our land, and everything on this world, Lord. Let us have open ears to hear today and open hearts to love today. And we give you, to God be the glory. Amen.
Cindy, do we have a quorum? Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Chairman, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Commissioner Wade. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Approval of minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve minutes from January 15th, 2026, please.
I second that.
Motion by Commissioner Dana and second by Commissioner Corn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, proclamation?
Mr. Chairman, we have a proclamation this morning for some local heroes in our community. So I'll read that if it's all right with you. CVE Lineman Appreciation Day. Whereas emergencies which affect the electrical service to our homes, schools, hospitals, public safety providers, and businesses can occur at any time, requiring dedicated professionals to leave the safety and comfort of their own homes to provide for the safety and comfort of thousands of other families. And whereas when an emergency occurs, regardless of extreme temperature or severe weather events, the prompt response of linemen to get power restored is critical to the protection of life and the preservation of property. And whereas the ability of our law enforcement officers and firefighters to protect the public safety is dependent upon the accuracy and the speed of which emergency information is obtained. Without connected electrical power, this information can lose validity and timeliness. And whereas linemen are the first and most critical link that our communities have, providing the emergency restoration of power needed to ensure both the necessities and the luxuries that we have come to depend on in our modern world. And whereas linemen must work high atop power lines 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to keep electricity flowing, playing a vital role in the energy infrastructure of our nation. And whereas acknowledging linemen and the profession of linemen, as well as the often overlooked contributions of these brave men and women, should be heralded as heroic contributions to our community. And whereas Central Valley Electric Cooperative linemen are truly appreciated for their dedication to ensuring that our residents are kept safe, especially during drastic events. Now therefore, the Chaves County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim February the 28th, 2026 to be CVE Lineman Appreciation Day in Chaves County in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our community and citizens safe. Done this 28th day of February 2026, signed and sealed by the Board of Chaves County Commissioners. Would y'all come up, please? Thank you.
Thank y'all for being perfect.
Now go get my pen. Oh, I've got one that's barely standing there. I'll just sign it right away.
Mr. Chairman, we have some longevity awards this morning, and I'll call out the people's name and how many years of service they have with the county. We do these on 5-year increments. And so when you hear your name, come on up and get your pin and your certificate and get a photograph, and then we'll call up the next one. So first person on our list today is Scott Hendricks, who's a sergeant with the Sheriff's Department, and he has 5 years of service, and he is not here this morning. So move on to. This gentleman is here, Stephen Aguilar. He works for the Road Department, and he's been with Chaves County for 5 years now. Thank you. The next person on our list is Isaac Kobos, a deputy sheriff, and I don't believe Mr. Kobos is here with us this morning, but he also has a 5-year pin. The next young lady is not here today because she just recently had a new baby. Emma Dominguez has been with Chaves County for 10 years. Wonderful job. The next guy is kind of a rube. His name is William B. Williams, and he's been with Chaves County for 10 years. Okay, the next person who's also been here for 10 years is our wonderful flood superintendent, Brian Hotelin. Come up, Brian.
Time flies when you're having fun. Can't believe it's been 2 years.
Perfect. And the next gentleman is sort of the personality of the road department, or one of the personalities of the road department. His name is Gonzalo Bonillo, Road Maintenance 2. He's been with Chaves County for 10 years. Okay, now we're moving into the 15 years of dedicated service to Chaves County. Oh, I missed one. We have one more 10-year pin for Chaves County, and that is young Miss Lucia Serrano, Assistant Finance Director.
Hard-working service.
Yes, yes, she does. Congratulations, young lady.
Half of her life. Half of her life.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, and now, without further ado, we're moving on to the 15-year pins. Adriana Zapata. Adriana is our grant writer for the county, project specialist. She works very hard all the time.
All right.
Lots of money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She's got 15 to go.
Yes, yes, you do.
Okay. Moving on to the 20-year people, we have also one of the personalities from the road department. You guys just thought it was just Joe, but there's several of them. Kenneth Bensinger. 20 years.
Thank you for your 20 years.
Thank you.
We have one more 20-year pin from CCDC, Gloria Flores. Detention officer. Gloria, she's not here today. Okay. 20 years. And finally, our last award goes to our detention office administrator, the lovely Miss Amparo Shafino. She does a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you for your years of service.
Mr. Chairman, every year at this time, it's wonderful to see how many people have dedicated their lives to serving the community of Chaves County. 25 years, 20 years, 5 years, 10 years, that's just pretty amazing when you stop and consider. And most of these people have not just sat there and gone to see their job every day. They work very hard to obtain credentials and do those sorts of things. And Annabelle is going to mention a couple of people who've done just that recently as well.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I just wanted to quickly point out Ms. Adriana Zapata and Ms. Ellie Holland, if you could please stand. On January 21st, 2026, they graduated with their Certified Public Official degree from New Mexico Edge, and so this is a curriculum that really takes several months to complete, and on top of that, do their day-to-day duties. So I just want to quickly highlight Ellie Holland is already going on 19 years in April with the county. And of course, Ms. Zapata got her 15 years, but she's actually going to have 16 years with the county in March. So, you know, this is a great testament of what committed employees look like. And we recruited them from the detention center, but they've really just been amazing. So I just wanted to give them kudos and kind of highlight their achievements on that.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, can we get a photograph with them? We were wanting to at the Association of Counties meeting in Santa Fe, but we didn't get that done.
We're going to get a picture with Mr. Becker.
Good job.
Yes. I know. Yes.
That's better with a whole commission anyway.
Yes, it is.
Than just a few of
Yes.
us.
Okay, now we'll have some, Tamara from 4-H and Extension.
We can do that over here.
Good morning. So Tamara Schubert, Chaves County Cooperative Extension. And I feel like I get up here every time and I say we're super busy. But I do have our annual reports for you all to kind of look through. There's lots of information on our programming for last year. A couple of notes. You'll see on a second page, our overall contact numbers are a little bit lower this year due to Mr. Drew. With the vacancy in the office, those one-on-one contacts have dropped just a little bit. So as we approach getting to fill that position here in the next couple of months, those should jump back up. But our overall program numbers and participation across the board in attendance at our programs have increased, really across the board on all platforms. So as we get back into full office staffing, those will shoot back up, hopefully, right? This last year, we were able to pick up a couple of new programs. We've seen a great increase in Hagerman with some of our participation. We had our biggest turnout for our mental health class yesterday at the Joy Center, and so that really made me excited. We were also able to pick up a homeschool group this last year, which is great, and so we're looking at picking up our second co-op with the kids this year as well. So we've got lots of big things going. Right now, we will be kicking off 2 Kitchen Creations diabetic cooking schools this next month, one in person on Mondays in March, and one online for those that may be working on Thursdays. We are still hosting gardening at the library. It's going to be all about rose pests this Saturday at 10, and then they're going to follow that up with a hands-on demonstration out at the Triangle Garden at Cahoon. So if anybody's interested, come see those. The Southeast Ranchers Workshop will be taking place March 5th down in Portales. Lots of information going on there as far as virtual fencing and stuff like that, and an update on the screwworm that's going on. And then we're partnering with Healthy Kids Chaves County and some of our master gardeners to get our schools up and going with their gardens at about 5 different locations. So our schedule's still super busy. Enrollment for the 4-H ends this next month. So if anybody has not jumped on board, they have about another month to do that. We're still setting pace to have the same amount of people come in. We've got some new families, which we're excited about coming in from those homeschool co-ops, which is great. But other than that, I will stand for any questions. Yes, sir.
You said you had a meeting on March 5th, and it's going to involve some of that virtual fencing, is that what you said?
Yes. So the Southeast Ranchers Workshop is a collaboration between Curry, Portales, Chaves, Eddy, and Lee counties, and it rotates between the different counties. But we have some specialists coming in to talk about range management, virtual fencing, the screwworm, stuff like that. It's March 5th in Portales.
Do you, I guess I'm asking what your thoughts are, but do you think there's ever going to be a component where we're going to get some federal funding to start implementing those virtual fences?
So I know there's been, and Drew may be able to help me out a little bit since he covered some of that. He's nodding his head. There's been some counties that have done some trials and stuff like that that have been able to help producers, but he probably knows a little bit more since he was covering that for us. Want to jump in?
So I know NRCS is looking at having a cost share program for the virtual fencing to help offset some of those costs. One of the issues that they're running into is a lot of the cuts that happened within NRCS, a lot of those federal programs, as far as employee. So they went from about 172 employees, and I think they're around 116, 119 employees for the state right now. And so they're pretty backed up on a lot of the implementation of their eQuip and other programs, but they are doing a really good job still trying to keep up with that. And so as far as I know, there's been a lot of talk about adding that within the system, which I think in the long Anyway, it has been really fascinating with that, oh, I'm sorry. Drew Garnett, former Chaves County Ag agent. But with that virtual fencing, when they were doing a lot of the research at one of the Ag Science Center ranches with NMSU, the manager could actually, on his phone, horseback, look at what grass is growing where and see that there's some black grama coming up and there's some green tobosa over here, and literally draw a line that updates on those colors to keep those cattle off the black grama until it came up and was ready for some feeding, and keep those cattle on that tobosa. And it did a great job. And so right there from horseback, he can be looking at the state of the range and where the grass is coming up and where he wants to keep those cattle, and draw his lines on his phone horseback. It is some really phenomenal technology coming out, and especially when you look at the cost of fencing right now in some of these areas to help divide up some of these larger pastures. It is a great tool moving forward as far as managing your land and managing the resource that you're working.
Thank you for that.
I still call on him. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Drew from Soil and Water?
Yeah, so Drew Garnett from Chaves Soil and Water Conservation District, a former ag agent. And I do want to say that there were a lot of programs when I was leaving. I was telling Tamara and Katie, I said, look, this program, wait till an ag agent's in there. And I think Tamara took that as a challenge and has been running a lot of those programs still, and doing a really good job over there. So they're still doing really good work over at Extension on top of everything that they were doing before. So I've been really impressed, or maybe a little disturbed at like, wow, they can still do all that. Anyway, but with Soil and Water Conservation District, we are in salt cedar and Malta star thistle treatments is what we've been working on. And so we have been working with BLM and some other grant entities that we were awarded to work on salt cedar. And so we are working from the outside in, hitting some of these smaller, lighter patches, starting on the north end of the county. And we're going to be working our way back towards the river and then south from there. And then we also have some more funding that we're hoping to get awarded here relatively soon to continue that salt cedar work. The Malta star thistle, we thought we were dodging a bullet a little bit because we were going out and not finding Malta star thistle. And while we got that wonderful moisture recently with that snow, we are seeing Malta come back up in those locations. The good thing is, because it is in that small rosette stage, we are able to get it before it is going to seed. So I think that is going to actually help us a lot, that we're able to get out, treat this really quickly before it can go to seed. And so I think we are going to have a lot of success treating Malta as long as this wind does not keep picking up. However, it looks like it's going to be bad for the next week or so. And so that's going to delay a lot of our treatments. However, we still will have plenty of time to get it before that seed comes up. I will actually be at that Southwest Ranchers workshop, or Southeast Ranchers workshop, I apologize, talking about noxious weeds and the management of them on our rangeland. It is a great program, and I hope everybody who's interested will attend. So, any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank
So-
you. Yes, sir.
You had some control burns going on out
Yes.
east of town.
So, if there's any that have just recently happened, I haven't been a part of them. However, we are still in talks with Doug Cram. We did do a tour of the location where we were going to be doing a control burn, still hoping that we can do that control burn. Again, the original premise for us to want to do a control burn was a management tool for Malta star thistle. At the time that we were walking through the location, there was no Malta star thistle there. This afternoon, my hope is to get back down there, see if the Malta is coming up so that we can schedule a date in order to, and of course, when we schedule a date, because of fire and how you have to manage it, you're going to have a couple of days that you're looking at, and it's going to be very dependent on the weather. And so when we do have those dates set, I will be sharing that information. And that is, the location is in Hagerman along the, where the Felice and the Pecos come together. And so it is a pretty good location where we'll have that Pecos River, and there's still water in the Felice right there along that section where we'll have good buffers for that, utilizing fire as a tool. And so right now, we still don't have the date set, but hoping to soon. And again, I'll be looking to see if there's Malta coming up, because again, that main purpose was as kind of a research tool. Fire has been shown to be successful against Malta, but we just wanted to do some test locations and test plots regarding that.
Well, as long as we're watching the weather.
Yes, yes, sir.
There's a lot of things happening right now. So.
Oh, yeah. No, we want to be absolutely careful with that. It's a great tool, but it's one you've got to be very responsible with.
Yeah. And you're going to have to be responsible for it if it gets away. So.
Yes, sir. Well,
Okay.
we'll let Doug Cram, the fire specialist with New Mexico State Cooperative Extension, be the responsible party for that.
Okay.
No,
All
but
right.
yes.
Very good.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mike from Economic Development?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'll try to be as brief as I can, but as Commissioner Perry knows, I can speak for 30 minutes at a time. As you
Not
know,
today, baby, not today. You got the stage.
but not today, So this past month or so, obviously, we've been very involved with the legislative session, predominantly in the tourism and the aerospace aviation components, and seeking some funding for in-car for this year's race. We had our legislative reception, and many of you were there. Thank you for being there. Very well attended. Probably one of the best things that we do to connect people with our lawmakers. So thank you again for your participation. We currently have 21 projects that we're working on. 21. That's a lot. And some are they're in various stages of transition. Some won't make it probably, and some will. But I want to share with you a brief story, short story, about a project that we did in 10 days, which is unheard of in my world. We received a call from a company out of Arkansas who was seeking support for a location in southeast New Mexico, and they were having trouble finding people here in our county to help them. But fortunately, we were able to return a call to them, and they do project, their work is remediation of ground, fire, water damage to buildings, homes, and other activities. They predominantly work government contracts. They were needing a western location because of all the things that are happening in our area. So I contacted them, and they found out what the needs were, found him the building, found him land, and he says, I'll be there in 2 days. And he was. He brought his wife out in 2 days. 2 days later, they looked at the building and the land and says, ready to sign a contract. So they did. They already hired a couple of people, and we expect them to continue on. So they already been here training and already working in the region. So I just want to share that it's a pretty good success story for Chaves County. You probably heard about this air race coming in September, and you know the Thunderbirds will be here. We do anticipate larger crowds. I know you've heard the numbers I've spoke to you about before. I've mentioned those to you before. But again, the dates are the 16th through the 20th of September. PRS, which is the Pylon Racing Seminar, is actually not in May, as it has been in years past in Reno, but it'll be before the races in September. So we're going to see a lot of airplanes here a lot earlier. In fact, that PRS is actually starting the 14th of September for a few days. Both the unlimited and jet classes will be returning, and there'll be a third class. And what is that third class, or the third new class, I should say, is a 600-mile-an-hour class. So it's going to be pretty exciting. You may have seen a posting that we put out at the request of the Reno Air Racing folks about vendors being able to participate, and I've been seeing some negative press on it. So I just want to clarify what that's all about. It's not the EDC that's looking for vendors. It's the first time that the air racing folks has opened up to local folks that want to sell merchandise, not food, but merchandise. The only profit, if you are revenue from that, is going to the air races to help offset costs. The EDC, we're not receiving a single dime or a penny, and nor would we want to, but it's purely the air race folks doing that. So we encourage people, if they have information or have a need or would like to do that, it's very limited in quantities, how many they'll allow, but you can always call us at the EDC and we can get them in touch with the air race folks. In March, just in a few days, the 5th of March, after the session ends, after it ends, we are having at 9 a.m. on the 5th at the EDC a post-legislative recap. And we did that a couple years ago, and so we're going to have most of our lawmakers there. Encourage you to be there and open to the public and talk about some of the things that they were involved with and to be able to answer questions to all of you and others about any concerns about the legislation in this wonderful third-day session that we've been part of. Recently, I was on a podcast with Golden Shovel. Golden Shovel is a agency that does a lot of different things. They also do our website, and it was all about sharing the story of Chaves County, of who we are, our attributes, our center of gravity, the air center, the things that make us unique and different. So it's great press because it's on the web, so everyone has access to it, and also about the races and past successes of what's been going on in Chaves County. I was also on a webinar with the National Rural Economic Development Association recently, like last week, and it was about success in a small town, and we discussed proven marketing strategies that drive rural growth. And so that's going to be out there soon, and I'll shoot you a link, and if you're interested, you can call me and tell me how bad I did. I do want to share with you that that Amazon is nearing completion of their building. If you've seen it, it looks pretty nice, but it's Amazon. They do have a little more resources than a lot of folks. But they will be open in the middle of April. The 8th of April, April 8th from 11 to 3. We haven't put it out yet, but I want to share that with you now. April 8th from 11 to 3 at the EDC. They're going to have their a representative from Amazon here to sign people up about the Amazon Flex program. What is that? It's an employment program, in a manner of speaking. It's not a W-2 employee, but this is where individuals, and you've seen them in their own personal cars at other places, probably here in Roswell, delivering packages. That's what this is. So a person that wanted to work for Amazon under that umbrella as a contractor, they could do that and deliver packages for Amazon. And they'll be hiring some folks to do that. So April 8th, again, 11-3 at the EDC. There'll be a press release out sometime in the near future. We'll make sure that you have it here in the county. We submitted some sites for the state site readiness program. You may have seen recently within the last week that the state has announced these sites that they're going to push money and marketing and so forth to that meet these readiness bars. And we were just yesterday awarded 2 of our locations here that we've been working on in Chaves County and Roswell to be part of that program. So we were accepted just yesterday, so we look forward to seeing that. You'll see the press on that as well. Lastly, I guess it must have been a slow day for the New Mexico IDEA folks. Who are they? They're the statewide Economic Developers Association, but they're filled with a lot of different companies, just not economic developers, but public utilities and so on. But I was awarded the Rural Economic Developer of the Year for 25, so I just want to share that's good press for Chaves County, and thank you. I hate talking about myself, but for me, I see it as good press for Roswell and Chaves County that we're doing stuff and people are seeing that, and that's what the word was all about. So after that, I will stand for your questions. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Anybody? Questions?
I'm good.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next, I'd like to have Brandon Williams, a new director from the Chamber of Commerce, come up and introduce himself and tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Chairman, Board, thank you for having me. My name is Brandon Williams. I was selected as the new Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce here in Roswell. It's my second week, I guess, here doing this, so I'm still relatively new, getting my feet wet. I'll answer any questions, and if I don't have the answers, I can find them and get back to you. One of the things that I guess I plan to do with the Chamber is continue on with what they're doing, but also, build some communication or build some relationships within this town. Maybe something that they might be lacking. I've worked in Artesia the last 11 years. I've worked hand in hand with that chamber, and that chamber is nothing to shoot at or anything. I mean, they do a lot of things within the community, and that's one thing that I plan to do is be more active within the community with the Chamber of Commerce here. The Rise with Roswell event, I think you guys are very familiar with that. That might be put on hold this year. They didn't feel that with the change in leadership there that it might be, too big of an undertaking to take on from the hiring process to when it's supposed to be. And then the speakers that they try to get to come in, they don't think it's giving anybody the ample time to schedule that. So currently, I think we're supposed to be meeting on that here over the next couple days. If you're asking me, I'm the one that's going to push for it. But I have to yield to the people that are above me too. So I'd like to see it continue to happen. I didn't want this change in leadership to have any type of negative impact on anything the chamber already does. So that's kind of where I lay with it. But I respect everybody's decision on that too, and we definitely don't want to sacrifice quality for the event. So if it doesn't happen this year, I promise you it will happen again next year. Some of the other things that the chamber's doing, obviously with Leadership Roswell, I think a lot of people here know me through Leadership Roswell. I was class of 24. I was selected president of our class, so I went through the class of 25 again because it feels like I failed the class of 24. And then Mr. Kraft asked me to stay on as program director. So I'm still part of class of 26 as the program director with Leadership Roswell. We'll find out if that changes at all at the end of this year. So a lot of you I've met through leadership and know you through leadership. So it's obviously, brought me some contacts and stuff that I will cherish for the rest of my life. But I'll answer any questions you guys may have.
Well, welcome to your new position. Are you a Roswell native, I guess, or you were
Yes.
working in Artesia, but you were here?
So I live here in Roswell. I've lived here my whole life. I am also, some of you guys may know the flag football event that still happens here now. I was the one that initially brought that back with a good team of fellow Roswell people. Initially, we did start with a gentleman named David Macklin. He was a 10-year NFL veteran, played with a handful of teams. He was a nonprofit with Glory Days. After about year 3, he and I spoke, and he decided he wanted to keep doing things nationally. I did not want to do things nationally. I want to stay here in Roswell, and so we started our own nonprofit, Not of This World Flag Football, and our board is still local. Everybody on our board is local here to Roswell. I have the Farm Bureau agency in Artesia, but yes, I live here, and I'll be part of the chamber and stuff here going forward.
Roswell High or Goddard?
How many Roswell High and Goddard people? Roswell High. I was a Roswell High graduate of 2003.
All right.
So
Just checking.
Thank you, Brandon, and welcome to the chamber, and we look forward to working with you.
thank you guys.
Okay, the detention center, Mike, do you have anything you'd like to share with us? Okay. We'll get into the agenda items.
He wanted to say something.
Yeah,
Mike wanted to say
I
something.
think you need to say something.
Pardon?
Mr. Briscoe, did you want to say something? No. All of a sudden, it just left your mind.
Yes,
Okay.
that's funny.
Trying to decide what to do, sit down or? Good morning, County Commissioners. As to agenda item number 1, Resolution R-26-007, approval of the DWI grant and distribution application for fiscal year '27. For fiscal year 2027, the Department of Finance and Administration reduced the DWI distribution funding, resulting in a $25,041 decrease to Chaves County. To address this reduction, the DWI Board approved the County Commissioners Budget Committee's recommendation to temporarily cover the DWI officer salary, allowing all DWI programs and contracts to remain fully funded. The board's recommended allocation of the estimated FY 2027 distribution funding, a total of $366,179 as follows. For the community wellness and outreach component, it was allocated $187,772.60. For the treatment component, it was allocated $18,073.40. For the alternative sentencing component, it was allocated $110,610.60. And for the program administration component, it was allocated $74,763.40. Additionally, the Chaves County DWI program is requesting $80,000 under the competitive grant to be allocated as follows. For the treatment, $80,000. The application will fund the project year July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. The Chaves County DWI program requests approval to proceed with submitting the FY 27 local DWI grant and distribution application. Staff recommends approval.
Commissioners, do we have a motion?
No, no, I'm not anymore.
I don't have any questions. At this time, do you have a question?
No, I don't have any questions.
At this time, I'd like to move to approve Resolution R-26-007, the approval of the DWI grant and distribution application for FY 27.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Wade. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. Last agenda of today.
Yay.
Agenda item number 2 brings forth the 2026 Chaves County Road Hearing applications and appointment of freeholders. The application deadline for the 2026 Chaves County Road hearings has passed and no additional applications will be accepted. 3 freeholders must be appointed to view the road requests and make a report thereof to the Board of Commissioners. The following individuals have been nominated by staff: Mark Brooks, Jesus Avitia, Angelo Gurule, all of Roswell, with an alternate of Ray Frescas of Roswell, New Mexico. And staff recommends approval.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the freeholders of Mark Brooks, Jesus Avitia, Angelo Gurule, and Ray Frescas as alternate.
I second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Perry. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay, approval of checks.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the checks in the amount of, I believe, with the new format, $5,794,041.19. Is that correct?
Second.
Oh, am I wrong?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, that's just the accounts payable. Exhibit B is payroll payments, which adds up to the 6.5 million.
6, okay. In the amount that
It's
Annabelle's getting ready to say.
$6,537,201.78.
As she said.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Second, Mr. Chairman, yeah.
Motion by Commissioner Wade, second by Commissioner Dana. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Approval of reports.
I had a couple of questions on the checks. On page, I think we were on 17 or something. If I could ever find it. Of course, on the USDA, did we, what is the maximum allocation that give to them?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Corn, which page are you looking at? Is it the USDA Animal Plant Health Inspection?
Yes, yes.
Oh, yes, so we do have a yearly allocation with them. I don't have the exact amount right now, but I believe it's about 118,000 that we have an allocation with USDA for. And that's for the, and Bill, you can help me with the services.
So is
APHIS and animal damage
Yes.
control?
So does that have the animal damage control
Yes.
in it?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Plus the soil and water in it, or?
Soil and water is not in that.
No.
It's animal damage control and APHIS, I believe, are the two in that. And we pay a portion of the salary for
I believe it is
two individuals. I
employees.
think the feds pay a portion of it, we pay a portion. Of course, when the government shuts down, they usually switch to our portion and continue to work, and then use the federal portion when it comes to them.
Right.
Well, I'm just kind of curious on the animal damage part of it. If there's a way that we need to start looking into some of that. I think we're not getting the benefit out of.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Corn, we will have them do a presentation as they always do at budget time, and our budget is coming up very soon. We're just now starting to put the calendar together, so within the next couple of months, they will be here in front of us, and so you'll be able to ask them very specific questions. And we're thankful that you and some of our other commissioners are directly tied to that, and helps us to always ask the good questions and the right questions.
Well, I don't know if I'm asking the right question. I just feel like we're not getting quite the service that we're paying out on their part. But anyway, I've got another one on, if I can ever find it. I shouldn't have printed double sides, and that would have been a lot easier. I should have just put a big old scratchy on it. Okay, it says page 17 of 30, down on the warrants payable contribution, LE contribution. Do we have a?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner.
Do we have a misnumber here on this one, or?
No, that's New Mexico County's insurance.
That is our yearly
on that,
premium
but
cost.
That's the premium. The $1 million is the premium.
Just for that portion of the insurance.
It's our yearly premium for insurance. So the total amount of the 1.6 includes the multi-line property auto, and law enforcement coverage, but it is broken down to show you what is law enforcement, which is over $1 million. And then if you go on page 18 at the very top, it'll show you what the multi-line contribution for the entire year is, and that one's $481,604. We did have two deductibles that we had to pay out also for law enforcement, and so that'll be reflected there. But the biggest portions was the law enforcement for over $1 million, and then the multi-line, which covers property, auto, and general liability, and that one's $481,000. And they were big amounts.
Yeah.
All right, that hurts. Yeah.
We can't run without it.
Can't go without it. I think there was one more here somewhere. I guess I shouldn't be looking into this too terribly hard. You guys are doing a good job.
Commissioner Corn,
On the,
Chairman, anytime you have questions on this, we appreciate questions, and we have a department that is very good at answering those
yeah,
questions.
they're-
So please continue to bring them forward. That's
Yeah.
great.
on Forest Tire, we have a lot of repairs on here and oil changes, and I'm just not totally familiar with what all is going on there.
The sheriff can address that one, I believe. And what, don't you use the road department for some of the
So-
maintenance, or do you just use Forest Tire?
So we use Forest Tire for a lot of it, and that did come from the request as well from the road department, because they were down with manpower. And it is basically the same cost that it costs us to go to the road department, because there is a money transfer no matter what. So it is quickly done at the, which is now, it's not Forest Tire, it's now
MTA.
yeah, MTA. So that's who we use, and we do take, that's the newer vehicles. The older vehicles we do take to the county yard, but the newer vehicles require certain oil and different type of maintenance.
Mr. Chairman, Joe, it is easier on you if they do this?
At the time, yes, sir, it was. We're fully staffed now, so there's still a difference. If they go to Forest Tire,
Right.
they've got multiple bays where we've only got one guy that does the services for the gasoline side.
And if he gets pulled off in order to do the sheriffs, who probably need their vehicle pretty
Yes.
quick, then it upsets
Yes.
your schedule. Okay.
And MTA does prioritize us. As soon as we get there, it's done immediately.
That's good.
Well, I just see a couple of units here that they had quite a lot done to them. I just
Yes, that's
don't know exactly who's driving them, but
Commissioner, the Chairman, Commissioner, unfortunately, with the amount of time that we're behind the wheel, there's a lot of things that need to be done. So, yeah, they do it, and they do a great job. The county yard does a great job as well, but like I said, it does take longer to get things done. You usually have to drop it off, and then in a couple days, you pick it back up, and we just don't have that time.
okay.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Corn, there is a mileage report that the sheriff's office does supply every month. Excuse me, and it's at the very end. I just can't tell what page number it is, but it is in the report section, so you can see there how much mileage they are putting in their vehicles as well, and it shows you what type of vehicle they're driving.
Well, I was just trying to put that particular unit to what was actually being used there, and I know what you're saying. You got the mileage report over here, but you can't really transfer it over to the next page
Right.
without knowing what the unit is and who's actually driving it. But anyway. I don't worry about that one. Okay, good.
Okay.
I'm good. Sorry. We're good.
Let's see, where did we leave off? Did, we got approval of checks, but did we do approval of reports yet? Okay, so we're at approval of reports.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the reports?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve reports.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Dana, second by Commissioner Perry to approve reports. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Unscheduled communications are limited to 3 minutes per visitor and not to exceed 15 minutes. No formal action is taken by this commission. Rita.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rita Kane Dorhofer, very narrow, unstriped Chicago Cubs mailbox, Mark Road. I want you to know that we're getting ready next month to write our grant for Keep Chaves County Beautiful. I've already bothered Alex twice or 3 times now, and I have his list of what he thinks that we should order. So if anybody has anything that they want, we'll see if we can't push it through. Just give me a call. We've been doing cleanups. We did cleanup at Roswell High, not on Monday. We did a cleanup there. So, by the way, tomorrow, if you have nothing to do, Chicago Cubs play the Chicago White Sox at 5 o'clock. And opening day is March 26th.
Oh, good.
And I have your schedule of when we are going to beat you. Anybody have any questions or anything that they want to put on, ask us if we can get it through on our grant? No? Okay, by the way, we do trash bags. We pick up trash, and we loan our trash cans out. Brandon and I have been doing this for a couple of years now. So if you have a cleanup, we take youth, and we will give them money and cookies, and we will clean up. Nobody has any questions or anything that they want? All righty. You have a good day. Go Cubs.
It's the year of the Cubs, right?
Yes, hopefully.
Anyone else?
Mr. Clements.
Okay, we'll move on to
Mr.
county
Mr.
managers.
Clements is on the way up.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't see him coming up.
Forgot me. Marvin Clements, 6102 Kincaid. I've been up here a bunch of times, and I still got 3 properties out there by my place. It's just a mess, junk cars and all that kind of stuff. I talked to Richard over here at Code Enforcement. He says that went to the courts, and the courts told him to clean these places up. Well, if the courts told him to clean it up, I'm kind of curious how come we haven't, on our part, done something to get them places condemned or whatever the heck it is. Lewis knows about them, what the ones I'm complaining about. I've complained about them to y'all before, so that. There's another thing about how the city is building that Hobson Street over there. I want just some kind of drainage system put along Hobson so that that water doesn't all dump into my neighborhood. Talked to Alex, and he's talked to the city. City's promising a bunch of stuff. I'm just hoping that they don't renege on their promise. If they renege, it's going to flood our property, and that's not good. That's about all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. County managers communication.
Mr. Chairman, if you will indulge us for a minute, Alex has a short presentation he wants to do for us. Give us an update real quick.
Chairman, Commissioners, thank you. Do I need to present myself? Alex Palomino, number 1, St. Mary's Place, Public Services Director. I just wanted to take this short meeting and just kind of give you a brief update on construction projects we got going on right now. it's going to be kind of hard to read. I handed you out a hard copy, but I wanted to keep it as a one-pager. And so we've got about 27 projects in the hopper right now, 8 of which, roughly 8, are completed. The top 8 you'll see roughly are completed within this last year. We've got 7 that are active, and then about 12 that are in the hopper, in the queue. You can go ahead and pull up the presentation now. So I just kind of put some pictures together to really, so you can just get, if you'll look at the screen to your left, your top left here, kind of the bigger ones that are active right now. We'll go to Cultural Plaza. So we're about 90% through the Cultural Plaza project. ETA on that is March 25th. I believe around the time frame of March 12th, we're going to have kind of a pre-final substantial completion walkthrough with the contractor. So we'll scroll through a couple slides here. That just gives you a quickly aerial. You'll see the stage. That's a view of the stage and kind of the south end of the property that they're still using for access. Currently, right now, we've got irrigation, bubblers, electrical, fine touches going on. We did receive light poles and some of the lighting amenities to the project. There was kind of a little bit of lead time on that. There you go. That's a good view right there. Go ahead and hold that one for a little bit. So right there, we're looking northeasterly. At the left of the side of the screen, you see the bathrooms. You see the big shade structure there on the north end of the property. And then the back of the stage. If you haven't driven by, we do have trees in the ground. Landscaping is starting. And again, just wrapping up on overall irrigation and the fine touches to the site. But looks to open or be completed at the end of March. We do anticipate a big grand opening, ribbon cutting when the weather gets better, maybe late April.
When the wind dies down.
Yeah. So if you would please shut the wind off for us,
I've been
we'd
trying.
appreciate that.
He ain't listening.
Next project is the PURCC, so the dispatch remodel. It as well, we're calling it 90%. It's a little bit further than that. ETA is April on that. We are essentially just waiting on the city's end. They've brought a vendor, a furniture vendor out to kind of measure, get some of their furnishings and equipment set up. They are, I believe, are 6 weeks out. So you're looking at kind of the big bullpen area at the top right there, kind of where the cubicles will go and a lot of their staff, and then, of course, their break room. Once again, theirs is critical in that they need a special vendor to move their equipment and furniture and fit it all in. So that's kind of what we're just hinged on. We have, I think, one access control, key card access that RIT is going to work with to the server room. But essentially, the project's complete. Next slide, please. Next one is public health. We're calling that 70%, and early June as a completion. These are probably some earlier pictures. Kind of overall, all the block's been done, really the roof, the ceiling inside, the flooring has been done, all the lighting. We've kind of been waiting for a little bit better weather for the site prep and the paving of the parking lot. The landscaping's been put in, lighting is going up. There's another picture there. Okay, go back one. So this was before the ceilings were in and the flooring was done. That's just kind of one of the hallways to the mini offices in that. The DOH has been over several times. They as well have taken a vendor over to look at some furnishing and measurements, take final measurements and drawings. A lot of the cabinetry has gone in, and so door framing, doors, access, all that's being worked out. And again, I think outside-wise, we just lack paving and the security fencing for the employees area. This is one that's you know, we did have a lot of public feedback on. Unfortunately, closing Berendo Creek, Crooked Creek after the flood several times, and then during construction caused a little bit of disruption in traffic in that area. As we had a Red Bridge the Red Bridge project going on at the same time. But we are done with all those, and that's just kind of a final product of what it looks like. We have the flood security gates. I think we've added, our road department's added a few more signs. We've added a few more cautionary object marker signs and signs to those floodgates. There will be locking floodgates. 3 of us will have keys to those gates. So instead of our road crew going out and taking the type 3 barricades and drums, we're going to attempt to lock the gates, and it has plenty of signage and that were installed after these pictures, and hopefully the public, just one of those educational things. The public learns and leaves those locked when the floodwaters come. So that's one of them's complete, and I think that's about it. Kind of a brief just status I wanted to point out, and then I stand for any questions. Thank you to Ms. Rita, by the way, for donating benches and trash receptacles to our Cultural Plaza project. She has a couple more things we're working on. And then thank you to the rest of our staff, finance and Anna, for helping me keep ducks in order.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, if you don't, I didn't mean, I just wanted to point out that a lot of effort goes into all of these projects. First thing we do in ICIP, it might be on our infrastructure capital improvement plan for 10 years before the timing is right to get the funding for it. Adriana and the finance department, they work diligently to assure that all our T's are crossed, all our I's are dotted before we ever send out an application or before we ever present to the legislators or try to obtain monies anywhere we can. Once we get those monies, then the work on making sure the contracts are there, making sure the monies are there, making sure that 5% in many cases is expended within 6 months. We have to have those projects ready to go, because if we don't immediately put money out, pay it out, then we're subject to reversion of those funds. Chaves County has not had funds reverted. That's a big problem in the legislature, and in fact, they often warn the legislators not to fund projects that are not a complete amount. But counties like Chaves County, larger municipalities, we understand how that works, and if we need $500,000 and the legislators give us $200,000, and you as the commission have prioritized those projects, we've already got a pretty good idea that we can get the rest of the money and get it funded and get it completed. So that's not usually an issue for us. It can be difficult for very small communities to get $100,000 on a $400,000 project, then they don't have the money to start or get it completed. So they warn the legislators about that, but our county always does really well. I don't know of any funds that have been reverted. We've had a little left over here and there, and we've asked them to change the purpose for those funds so that we can go ahead and utilize them. They don't want them back once they're here, and we don't want to give them back once they're here. So we work really hard on that. But like I say, the staff prioritizes and starts developing those things. In fact, one of the things on our ICIP that's been on there since before I got here, but I've updated a couple of times. I know Scott's updated, Alex is updated, and that's voter warehouse. I know that's another one that we're looking at. Probably the time is right within our county, and we're working with the clerk. And we do that. We work with the different departments and make sure that we understand what the county's needs are so we can move forward most efficiently with the monies that we have when we get them. We just were awarded some capital outlay. The funding is not here, of course, not till probably August or so. By the time the contracts are done, it'll probably be September or October before we actually have the funds to move forward with projects. But we always thank our legislators for working so diligently to help us fund these projects. Let us know as soon as possible. Dora and her group over at the COG, they go to bat for us at the legislature and really work hard to see that we get those funds. And we always thank our legislators. And they appreciate the relationship they have with us, because we don't over exceed what they ask us to put in. Sometimes people put in millions and millions of dollars in projects, and they have a very limited, finite resource. We prioritize ours. We keep our stuff down to truly things that we need in the county, and we always try to be proactive and not reactive. So we try to fix things before they become a problem. And some of these projects are not real exciting. You know, when you're replacing the roofing on the courthouse, that doesn't pique anybody's interest, doesn't make the front page of the newspaper as often as something like a cultural plaza that's going to really bring something to our community, or repairing a washed out water crossing or a bridge. Those things are the ones that get really exciting. Everybody knows about those, but all these projects are very carefully thought out, and we always thank our legislators for all that work. And do you know, Alex, just roughly which projects were funded this year? Have you?
Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, the variable electrical drives project from the courthouse,
one of the not so exciting ones.
One of the not so exciting ones, some chiller towers for the courthouse.
Concrete.
Security upgrades for, a real exciting one we have is security upgrades for the detention center. That's going to be probably a 4 or 5 phased out project through the next 4 or 5 years, we anticipate. So we're starting the first phase of that. And that adds just some security measures, mesh fencing, if you will, and access for the detention center.
And I think we also were funded some for the concrete repairs out in front of this building. As
Yes.
you noticed, the concrete's been heaving for quite some time. We're trying to be safe. And
ADA improvements.
elevator at the courthouse?
Elevator at the courthouse. So.
For our judges to assure that
Right.
the DA and everybody can get anywhere they need to in
One
the
of our
courthouse
most
securely.
dependable elevators. However, if something goes down with it, you can't find any parts for it. Everything's obsolete. Nobody wants to work on it any longer. So we've had that one in there for a couple of years, and thankfully we were awarded funding for that this year.
Did we decide that was installed in 1962 or 66?
It was the upper 60s, yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's younger than me. Okay.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and the fuel
Flood
station
control
for
will
the
add
flood.
Yeah.
a fuel station revamp there as well.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, it's under SB 240. That's what I was going to ask you. SB 240 was approved, and now she hadn't signed off on anything. The admin center main entrance improvement, is that the
concrete?
Mostly the concrete,
Okay.
yes.
Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, you've got the cooling tower, the elevator, the cultural plaza. On the cultural plaza, I do have a question about that. Once we get that finished and everything, there is a fence and it will be secured and locked, is that correct?
That's correct.
And it'll only be open when
During events.
certified events, or what? How are we going to work this out?
Chairman, Commissioner, so we're currently working on a policy.
Okay.
Like right now, most folks just schedule with HR and fill out, information
Right.
for the courthouse lawn. This will be similar, except there'll be a little more policy guidelines and
Okay.
things that the leases will be accountable for. Again, it's free to the public, but there is some guidelines they'll follow.
they'll
Mr.
have
Chairman,
to have-
Commissioner Dana, that is something that we do on the courthouse lawn. If someone wants to utilize the public property that, they'll pay taxes on, we just ask that they sign a hold harmless agreement and provide the adequate insurance for the event.
Okay.
Sometimes people think they can just go to the courthouse lawn and do things. Unfortunately, we have to ask them to fill out the proper paperwork and assure that they have the proper insurance for the event in case someone were to fall and get hurt. And on the bathrooms and stuff, we're unsure of exactly what that policy is going to look like. The county's willing to keep the property up and everything, but if we have an event over the long weekend and the bathrooms are really filthy, that may be a requirement of the entity that utilizes those grounds. They may have to clean the bathrooms to some standard. We're unsure. There's a lot of questions about that particular scheduling for that.
Yeah, we have to tighten those up because this venue has a little bit more amenities than the courthouse lawn
Right.
has. We have bathrooms, we have shade structures, we do have the operations of the locking gates. So on the alley side between the event center and the parking lot, the existing parking lot, there's a 25-foot gate that's going to open and lock within the island there. So it allows traffic from 4th Street to come into the parking lot, but no longer, during events, no longer to cross the alley or go straight across the alley because pedestrians will be there. So it's those kind of things that we need to button up, and we're working on a policy for that.
Okay. If the cultural center opens up, we'll have that venue, but we'll also have the courthouse lawn. The same thing goes for the courthouse lawn. We can't just have people
Correct.
Right.
setting up a table and going, okay, here I am,
Right.
without going through the proper.
And, you know, there's certain rules and regulations they need to follow. You know, there's no marijuana, there's no alcoholic beverages,
Right.
you know, things like that. You shouldn't have to tell people, but we do. No ponies on the lawn,
Right.
no slip and slides. And the reason those things are in there is because people have done that. It gets really hard on the
Yes.
lawn after you have a long weekend of people doing slip and slides and then ponies through the mud. It created problems, and so the policies were written based on actual facts that have happened over the years, which is why we ask people just to come forward so we can let you know what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and make sure that it continues to be something the community can use at no cost.
Right. Well, good. Well, thank you, because I know we've had some issues with some entities just setting up tables and going, we're here.
Certainly.
And, yeah, we've just got to make sure that when we do that, that we do put out the policies and procedures and make the public aware, because I know we're going to hear it. How come those restrooms aren't open 24/7 for downtown? Because downtown businesses don't want to open up their restrooms. So we're going to have to really
And of
make
course,
sure.
the idea behind the Cultural Plaza, one of the main ideas was to provide bathrooms to offset the pressure on the downtown businesses
Right.
during large events. But that doesn't mean every day, you know.
Right.
When we just have normal flow on Main Street, someone asks to use their bathroom, hopefully the businesses are accommodating where they can. And we know that they are because we live in a nice community that does that. But certainly the idea was to assure that during big events that we do our part as a community to provide those services and to offset the impacts on our local businesses. So,
Right.
thank you.
I also want to ask about our new communications center down there. When they get moved in, will we have to completely cordon off Area D, or are we going to be able to have our elections there still?
We'll still be able to have our elections. We've been working through this process with the clerk, through the construction process, and then talking about the future a little bit. Yeah, both departments, if you will, are going to kind of work independently of each other. We've had to divide the building in such a way for both security purposes.
Right.
And so there's plenty of access to both. One future project on the horizon that's also in the queue is the revamping of the parking lot. There'll be additional access from this north parking to the south parking, and then through the access there at Casa Maria. So, yeah, we've been working to accommodate both groups.
The one thing when we did the walkthrough, when we were starting all of this, was where are the machines? Because the machines do have to be behind lock and key. I mean,
Yes.
I'm sorry, but we do have.
Yes. Correct. Chairman, Commissioners, so
Yeah.
that room where those machines are currently locked and the clerk is the only person who can access that, it's going to stay in that condition. It's currently locked and there'll be no disruption to that room.
And that's alarmed separately from the rest of the building too. So if someone were to break in,
Okay.
the alarms go off.
So
Because I
essentially, the
know.
whole half of the building and the current locked
Okay, because you do
room
have
is-
people that show up. Sheriff's Department goes down there. I mean, they currently do now. They get up and walk around. They did tell us that they do that too. But we need to make sure that those machines are taken care of.
all north, south, and west access doors. The clerk has access to those, fully controls access with the alarm and keys.
All right, is that entrance going to be closed off too? I
That'll
mean,
be
is
up to
it
the
going to
clerk.
be?
That'll be up to the clerk.
I mean, as far as when we don't have elections.
Yes, it's closed off. So there's a hallway dividing dispatch and the voters area.
Right.
And only the clerk and the voters have access to that hallway.
Okay, but in an off year, will we have sheriffs down there? Will we have the dispatchers wandering around? I mean, those machines have to be
Yeah,
secure.
dispatchers aren't allowed on that side of the building. They have no access to that side of the building.
Okay.
Chairman, Commissioners, if I could say something, this is Sheriff Harrington. One thing about the dispatch area and that building itself, it's very specific that public does not have access. So it's not where people can just walk in at any time because of the standards that dispatch has. It has to be a secured facility away from everybody. The only people who are going to be in and out of there are law enforcement, fire personnel, and maybe waiting at the door, DoorDash. Right? And that's the reality of it. It has to be a secure facility, and we just implement the same rules for the voting side as well.
And Commissioner Dana, also, we've implemented a tube system like they have at the bank. Currently, they sometimes have to step out to hand off a warrant for people. That will no longer happen, and they're completely behind a closed gate. So actually, access for law enforcement, firefighters and stuff would be greatly reduced. In fact, they do have a main conference room in the event of an emergency, a community emergency such as Goliath, so they can meet. But even that is sequestered separately. It has its own separate little hallway to enter that, to keep the voting area completely secure and off limits. The only time the voting area will be open is when the clerk unlocks the doors and says, y'all come on in. The rest of the time, it's only them and people that they allow in there. So thank you for assuring the security.
Yes, I like I said, when we toured at the beginning and now at the end, I just want to make sure that, because that always comes up, every election is, are those machines secure? And our staff is the only one who has access to them. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I look forward to the Cultural Center opening up. I think that's a great partnership that we've had and that we had to take on, or kind of took on, from Main Street Roswell and the city of Roswell. So I hope, I look forward to being able to have events, and sounds like it's going to be at the start of festival season. So
Yes, ma'am.
we'll see how it goes.
I got one.
Yes, sir.
On the Cultural Plaza. Is there a way to approach the utility company to upgrade the power grid in between the courthouse and there? Is there a way to kind of clean some of that up where we don't have, I mean, if you got a lot of people, you have a big event, and you got people carrying balloons and that sort of stuff in and out, and they go up, I mean, to me, there's a big issue right in there on the utility part of it.
Yes, Chairman, Commissioners. Those existing overhead electric were looked at really briefly in early design of the project, but that is typically an enormous cost, and the electric company usually shies away from even doing that themselves. We'll have to front the bill for that, but getting all that underground is an enormous cost that we could not afford.
Even if, I mean, they have the easement in that alley, right?
Correct.
And only in that alley. Mm-hmm. Do they not have the right to maintain that easement, to upgrade it after so many years of being in the grid? I mean, some of those poles in there are old and ugly, and, you know, they could put in some larger poles all the way up through that.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. They do maintain currently within right-of-ways and within easements all their existing infrastructure. However, to upgrade the infrastructure, it's a high cost.
And that should be on them though, right? Not on us.
Typically, if you want to upgrade, like meaning get it underground and upgrade the infrastructure equipment itself, the hardware, that cost is usually on the owner or she who requests that.
Well, I'm just trying to think out of the box. Yeah. Those poles are old and ugly, and they ought to be redone and made bigger, whatever, all the way through there.
Agreed. It's just a
and
cost.
There's too many lines in there. I mean, if we're going to start having public going in and out and that sort of stuff, I just kind of have a problem with it, but anyway.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. That's something we can look into and get a cost and see what the logistics behind who's responsible for what. Again, I know they're responsible for maintaining their existing equipment, but From what I've learned, it's on upgrades, and so we'll look into that cost and provide that.
Well, there should be a time limit on the poles, and if the poles are
Absolutely.
not,
Absolutely.
then they can upgrade it themselves and put them taller and get them out of the way and combine some of those lines and that sort of stuff.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, I'm good.
Chairman, Commissioners, one last thing I failed to mention on this list is, it's not really reflected, but is the projects also that are ongoing or in the queue for our road department, you know, our transportation project fund, road fund, and the local government road funds that we receive from the state, the DOT. So those projects aren't really reflected on here. These are kind of the public works side of things. So just wanted to point that out. We have a few, you know, that happen yearly, and Joe West and the crew usually take on, so.
And this cultural plaza is generally going to be open to anybody for uses under a permitted process, correct?
Correct.
Somebody wants to have a graduation party?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have anything in thought for a big kickoff party?
We do. We do, Commissioner. And again, we're waiting on the weather, but we're hoping that, you know, we can just make a big evening shindig out of it for the public.
Thank you, Alex.
Mr. Chairman, Alex, I have a question. What about FEMA? How are you coming along with FEMA? I know you've been arguing with them.
Matter of fact, Annabelle and I are wrapping up a few things with FEMA. We do have to ask for an extension on these projects that we have coming up. The reason we have to do that is by the time we've got their estimate, and feel free to chime in anytime, Annabelle, but by the time we got their estimate and projects in the queue, it's kind of, since we do chip seal surfacing, we have to wait for the chip seal season to open up. And so that pushes it into that time frame a little bit. And they're scheduled. Probably 3/4 of those projects we're doing in-house. So additional road pieces, like I'll just throw one out, for instance, Crossroads. There's about 1,000-foot stretch of Crossroads that'll be redone. But again, we're waiting on the chip seal surface season weather to open up.
And Morgan Bridge, they have approved?
Morgan Bridge, FEMA has approved us for what's called a level 0, that's engineering services study. So we're gonna have to provide a hydraulic and hydrological study, drainage study for the Felice River on Morgan Bridge and come up with some alternatives. So they have essentially given us some funds for that, and we are working with an engineering group now to try to get them procured and contracted.
And when you're talking about Morgan Bridge and those studies, I mean, don't we have some studies that are already being done on the Felice that could be mirrored for that? I mean, do you have to do it at each intersection, or can they use the one up on 285? I mean, surely there was a study done for that.
Yeah, there was one done for that recently, and also west of the Felice as it comes off the hills. FEMA's done their own. They were in the process of updating the firm maps. They have not completed, but we do have to do localized studies to ensure that the infrastructure we're gonna replace, you know, we'll have alternatives, right? We'll have a Cadillac model, we'll have a maybe more feasible middle, and then we'll have what's currently there, which is kind of a low flow. Those alternatives will come out of a study like this, but you have to study those more accurately localized so that you don't affect the downstream folks and you know, flood somebody out. We can pass through all the water we want, all the river we want, but then we might affect somebody downstream. So that's why those studies are kind of critical. The good news is, as part of the Rio Hondo watershed study that the DHSEM has led as part of all the disaster, we were able to pull out the LiDAR information. In other words, the 3D surface modeling information that they produced for this entire area from Ruidoso down all the way to the Pecos River. We were able to take that out, and we're going to provide that to the engineers, and that's going to save costs on our study. So kind of a yes/no answer to that, Commissioner, but there is a lot that's been done. That study is kind of a blessing to all the agencies. It's probably a $500,000 easily study because of the area. It was fully LiDAR'd, so a regional drainage study, if you will, is going to be done for the whole Rio Hondo watershed. And we're kind of waiting on a draft to come out from DHSEM and the engineering group leading it for them to have a stakeholders meeting here in the near future. Stakeholders being the county, the city, NMDOT, BLM, and a few others. Good, all right. Thank you again for your time.
Bill, do you have any further comments?
No, I'm ready to do my closeout comments. Thank you, Alex. That was really informative, and it's nice that we get an opportunity to show all the work that goes into all these projects. I think you said you had 27 on the list, and we listed another 5 now that are going in the hopper, so you'll be over 30. But you did have a couple that were 100%, so it's going to even out. But you'll have a job this time next year, no problem. So, of course, everyone has been back and forth to the legislature. You know, there's been some good, some bad. We know that our legislators fought hard for us. I got an opportunity that I don't know how I got it, but Senator Wilson introduced me on the Senate floor. That was kind of an unexpected and unusual thing. EDC event was great. The owner of Tia Sophia's restaurant in Santa Fe, of course, he's moving here, and at the event, he just kept saying over and over and over, he couldn't believe how nice the people in our community were. Everyone's been welcoming, everyone's been excited to help him out, and he just really seemed like maybe other communities aren't as friendly as our community, and I'll leave it at that. But anyway, we're looking forward to having him show up here. Some of us attended the Land and Liberty Summit in Dallas-Fort Worth over the weekend and got sick. Thanks, Hub. But we're getting over that. Learned a lot of stuff about different things that the federal government has going on that affect our culture and our way of life here in the West. Commissioner Wade and Commissioner Perry are going to be heading out to NACO tomorrow, and that's at the legislative conference. Commissioner Perry is going to present a resolution on the Mexican wolf to the Public Lands Committee, and hopefully we'll get that passed, supporting some sideboards, if you will, on the Mexican wolf. Currently, the wolf, the Canadian, the gray wolf in Colorado and other places, people are starting to see the problems with releasing apex predators in our communities with our children and our livestock and all that. So Commissioner Perry is going to work with a commissioner from Socorro County, and they're going to work towards getting that pushed through. We have a meeting on the NHTSA corridor. We continue to fight that battle and try to keep that at bay. 1,841,000 acres in New Mexico, another 366,000 in southern Colorado that potentially could be taken by eminent domain. By an agent of the government, committing Congress to spend the millions and millions of dollars it would take to buy up that land, regardless of whether it's a fifth-generation ranch or farm or the middle of Portales. Makes no difference. Whatever they decide, they have the authority to do that, so we're trying to keep that in check. Our budget, I mentioned earlier, is starting soon. We're wrapping up our inventory and asset management. We do that every year to assure that things are where they're supposed to be, and keep a very transparent thing going on here. And again, that's why our finance department constantly wins awards, and we're thankful for them. On February the 20th, tomorrow, there's a meeting with Game and Fish. Game Commission will be at the Game and Fish Department office over on College at 9 a.m. They'll discuss their management techniques that they have upcoming for our state for the coming year. We met with them on February the 9th and discussed the 4-year rules with them, with the leadership at New Mexico Game and Fish, and this is kind of one of their regional meetings that kind of follows up on those discussions for the community. Want to thank Chaves County Board of Commissioners for adding that $25,000 back to the DWI budget that was cut by DFA. Despite those cuts, the Board of Commissioners has managed to keep all the DWI programs and all the benefits that they do for our community. They've kept all that whole by absorbing those cuts in-house to assure that those things are done. And I just want to thank y'all for all the work you do for us, and we appreciate you, and that's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Dana.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Alex, for the update on everything. Appreciate that. It's kind of nice for taxpayers to see their tax dollars at work, and that's kind of neat. I always told people in the legislature, taxpayers don't mind as long as they see where their tax dollars are going, and that's one thing about Chaves County is we show you what we're doing. We invite you for the ta-da, as I call it, to introduce you to what we've done. We have until noon today before the legislature ends. This has been the most ridiculous. I've said it every session. I say it's ridiculous. This one was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. The attack on New Mexico citizens, the attack on New Mexico law enforcement, the attack on just everything good in this state. And our legislature, the Democrats, I guess, in this legislature came up and said, we don't care. We don't care about the citizens of New Mexico. We don't care about the taxpayers. We're just going to do whatever the heck we want. And it's just awful. I was at New Mexico County's board meeting at the beginning of the session and at the middle of the session to hear our board members from Otero, Torrance County, and Cibolo County talk about the impact on their counties on the detention center. We're looking at 1,000 families, not just the workers, the families that will be affected by this, and also the bonding. Otero County is fixing to get trashed. Their bonding capacity is going to be trashed because of this. Because they think, the legislature in their infinite wisdom thinks, okay, we'll just go and shut this down and nothing will happen. Otero County is so devastated. I mean, we sat in that board meeting just looking at the representatives that we have from Otero, Torrance, and Cibolo County, and we were almost in tears because we knew the impact that this was going to be on each of those counties. These are small counties. This isn't Santa Fe. This isn't Bernalillo. This isn't Doña Ana. They can't just go out and go to McDonald's and go find a job. This is ridiculous. This is high-paying jobs with benefits. These are families. And I wish those legislatures, they won't go into these detention centers. They were invited to go to these detention centers. Don't let them, please don't think for one moment, because they are out there saying that, oh, they tried to walk in. I challenge y'all to go up to our detention center and bang on that door and say, let me in, let me in. I guarantee you're going to meet them at the door and say, who are you and why? And that's exactly what these lawmakers said that they did, but they did not. They were invited many, many, many times to each of these detention centers, and they didn't go. And let me tell you, in Otero County, when they went, we had county commissioners, we had the sheriff, they had all sorts of people, but did any of the legislators go? They did not. They said they had something else to do. They had to serve over 109 different meals in Otero County alone because of cultural, religious, dietary. That's just the meals that they have to serve. They had yoga classes for those people that are in there. That place, I mean, it's just amazing. You know from running a detention center what you have to do for the inmates that are in the detention center. And it irritates me that people bash you guys all the time, that you don't care about the people that are in there, that you don't know what you're doing. These legislators think that they know more than you do. You guys are trained. These officers and these people that are in these detention centers, they are trained into what has to be done. Not only in training in safety, but the culturals, the different people and their cultures and their religions. And to walk in there and tell these people with a pen, she took a pen and signed the legislation. She took a pen and ruined 1,000 families in the state of New Mexico with a stroke of a pen. That to me is appalling. And she said to the taxpayers of New Mexico and to those families, you don't matter anymore. What I think and what I feel matters. And that you, believe me, it's not going to end with this detention centers. It's going to end with our detention centers. They're already talking about the way juveniles are treated, the way you guys treat our inmates. This doesn't stop here. They're going to keep going until they close down everything. And I have no idea why, unless they think that their security is more important than the citizens' security of this state. It breaks my heart to see what this session and what these people have come up with this session. The tax package, hold on to your wallet, you guys. They're raising every tax that they can because they feel that billions in oil and gas isn't enough money. They need more money for them to spend up there. It's ridiculous. They're raising gas taxes. They're raising all sorts of taxes. DWI, we're having to fund DWI. Why? People aren't drinking as much. But yet when I asked on the cannabis is going down. And I really firmly believe it's not because people aren't drinking or people aren't smoking their weed. People are leaving the state in droves. They're leaving the state because they can't work here. They can't be secure here. They're going someplace else. And it breaks my heart. I love this state. But I'm just so appalled at our legislators. Our legislators, the ones that we have, the ones that we send to Santa Fe, y'all, when they get home, give them a pat on the back, call them up, give them a hug, and tell them thank you very much. They fought for hours and hours and hours, not only in committee on the floor of the House and Senate, getting bashed. I tell you, I thought it was bad when I was up there. It's really bad now. They got the crap beat out of them. Why? For taking our values and standing up for our morals and values and standing up for the people of New Mexico. And they get bashed for it. So please, there is important elections this year. We have a major election in June and a major election in November. You better know who you're voting for, and you better get out. Because the first thing I'm going to ask you when you come up and you start complaining about stuff, I'm going to say, are you registered to vote, and did you vote? And if you told me you didn't, I'm going to explain to you. I won by 5 votes my very first time in the House of Representatives, and I lost by 13. Every vote does count, and don't tell me it doesn't. It does count. We have to save our state, our nation, and our county. And I'm going to fight tooth and nail because I can't believe what they did in Santa Fe, you guys. It's ridiculous. But please thank our legislators when they get home. They took a beating like you wouldn't believe this time around. But I thank our staff. Our staff went to conference. They heard what was going on. They were briefed. They know exactly what happens in Santa Fe. So I thank you very much for attending the conference and to staying engaged. It really helps. Our voices sometimes are heard and sometimes they're ignored. But thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Cliff, how do I follow that?
Mama gets mad.
Thank you, Dara. Thanks for saying what you did, because they do fight a battle up there on our behalf. The whole region, I mean, that's what's so nice is we're not in it by ourselves. The whole southeast corner of the state is conservative. The western corner of the state is conservative, southwestern. The northeastern in places is too. And we're very fortunate to have a lot of good people. It's just we're outnumbered. So I was able to attend the New Mexico counties where the finance department got another award this year and for their outstanding performance. And in fact, thank you for correcting me, Annabelle. I thought it was 6 million, but I looked at the bottom line here and it was 5.7, and I thought it was over 6, and so I didn't write it down when I saw the 6, I guess. We just attended the reception, the legislative reception of the EDC with Mike, and thankful for all the work he does, and we're just so thankful that we are a bunch of conservatives down here that are patriots. Not them New England type, but American patriots. So that's all I have to say is thank you all for everything. And Alex, thanks for the amount of work that you're doing with all the projects. So, yeah, I know, and everybody else too. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Hub?
I think you guys pretty much said everything except talk about the wind.
I tried.
There was a lot of wind in Santa Fe, for sure.
Yes, there was.
Yeah, we went to Fort Worth and met a lot of very interesting people there. That conference was really good. There was a lot of very intelligent people there, and they're fighting the fight on our behalf. Some of us ought to kick in a little bit more in certain areas, but that was a very, like I said, very interesting conference. It's too bad I got sick and didn't remember everything, but what kind of pops up in my mind, and I thought was very interesting when the realtors were there talking about getting hacked in on their Zillow or whatever it's called.
Zillow.
Huh?
Zillow.
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 See, I can't. I might have to get me the hearing aids, but anyway. There was them talking about the squatters and that sort of stuff too, and I don't know how our squatters' rights